At the end of the session, you can exit the webinar by using the Leave Meeting notification within your control panel. Thank you for attending the Accelerate Analytics on Cloud with ACE webinar. At this time, I would like to introduce Arvind Rajan, CEO of Astute Business Solutions. Go ahead, Arvind.
Thank you, Valerie, and good morning and good afternoon to all of you who have taken time to join us today. We are excited to bring this new solution to you, which we hope will accelerate your analytics implementations on Oracle Analytics Cloud, powered by Oracle's Autonomous Data Warehouse. I'm Arvind Rajan, co-founder and CEO of Astute Business Solutions, and I'll take you through our presentation today and follow that with a brief demo. With me, I have Joe Finlinson, Chief Technology Officer at Astute Business Solutions, and Jyoti Shah, who's our Oracle Cloud Analytics expert for PeopleSoft applications. Together, we will be presenting our solution as well as doing a live demo, and then answering questions that you will have at the end of today's presentation. So let's get right into it. This is the agenda we have in mind for you today. We're going to spend a very brief amount of time introducing ourselves for those of you who are participating for the very first time in our webinar. Then we'll talk about analytics. What are some of the challenges that you face as a customer today? And this is based on what we've heard customers share with us over the number of years that we've been working with customers in the on-prem world with analytics and PeopleSoft ERP. And then out of that, what opportunities do we see to help you overcome those challenges and accelerate your analytic deployments? Then we'll talk about Oracle Analytics Cloud, which is a platform cloud service within the Oracle Cloud Infrastructure umbrella of services, and what's unique about it and how we think it can help you solve your business challenges. Then we'll get into our accelerator built on top of Oracle Analytics Cloud, which we're calling ACE, Analytics Cloud Enablement. And in its current form, it is specifically designed for PeopleSoft applications, HCM, ERP, and so on. And our future roadmap has plans where we are planning to expand this to other data sources, other Oracle ERP products, and third-party products that can all be used to leverage the power of Oracle Analytics Cloud. We'll show you a brief demo tied to two use cases that we have to show you today. One is in HR, and the other one is in finance and procurement. And once the demo concludes, we'll spend some time doing Q&A with you. We understand that as the presentation progresses, you may have questions that pop up in your mind. Please don't hesitate to put that into the chat window as you think of those questions. We'd like to save those and answer those once we conclude the demo, because chances are some of your questions may be answered by our slide deck and our demo. So let's get right into it. Astute Business Solutions, we are acutely focused on Oracle Cloud Infrastructure and helping customers take advantage of Oracle Cloud Infrastructure and platform services to derive more value out of their current investments in PeopleSoft ERP and related application workloads. Now, we do this by helping customers understand when and how they should migrate to cloud. What should they do once they get to cloud to optimize their application footprint and the lifecycle management around it, and then how they can look at consuming additional platform services to extend the power of their ERP and HR applications. We've been in business since 2006. We've been an Oracle partner from the beginning. We are ex-PeopleSoft. My co-founder and I worked for PeopleSoft prior to starting this business. So PeopleSoft's in our DNA. And then we've embraced cloud over the last 3 to 5 years, where cloud is now an integral part of everything that we do. There are several industries that we work in, including financial services, healthcare, education, nonprofit, and more. And these are industries where PeopleSoft has historically done well and has a strong community, user community, and install base. Some of the customer logos that you see on the bottom right, those are customers who have successfully moved their cloud, their PeopleSoft workloads to Oracle Cloud Infrastructure with us in the recent past. Many of them have testimonials and case studies on Oracle's website, oracle.com, and some on cloud.oracle.com. And these are just a small listing of customers. So we have many more to share if you have specific requests for our experience, or where we have done similar projects. And then in terms of our competency, it is helping customers take advantage of cloud infrastructure, as I said, by moving PeopleSoft to OCI, by helping them leverage autonomous technologies on OCI, such as autonomous data warehouse, which we're going to talk about today, and then longer term, looking at solutions like analytics and chatbots, which may be tied to your business initiatives. We are a Oracle OCI MSP partner, and MSP stands for Managed Services Provider, which simply means that we can combine the power of OCI, managed service, all the run and maintain needed for your applications, all tied to a stringent SLA so that you can focus your teams on consuming application features and building out more feature and functionality for your business users. Again, a quick snapshot of the services that we offer on cloud. We migrate applications to cloud, we manage them on cloud, and then we help customers extend into additional cloud services depending on their business need. So let's get into the main topic, which is analytics, right? Why is analytics important? What have been some of the traditional challenges around analytics and adoption of analytics, whether it's on-prem or in the cloud? And how can we help you overcome some of those challenges? So the problem statement that we see, and this is a generic problem statement, but we have tried to put this together based on our experience through various discussions with customers at conferences, in one-on-one workshops, through implementation projects, and also supplemented with a lot of research that we do online with various sources of information that are relevant in this field. So customers generally view analytics as being a long, time-consuming and expensive implementation project. Regardless of which technology they've chosen in the past, they feel that it is cumbersome and it requires a lot of resources and for them to start seeing results, right? So that's the main problem statement. Now, there may be offshoots of this where customers may go into specific areas tied to their business needs and so on. But by and large, most customers that we've spoken to who have deployed analytics have come out of it at the other end and said, we don't want to go through this again. This has been extremely painful. It's like moving mountains and so on and so forth. So we want to acknowledge that and find a way to solve that problem. Now, what is causing that problem, right? So here are four major reasons that we think contribute to that perception or that experience that customers have lived through in their past lives. On the top, you see learning curve. These tools that are available in the market for business intelligence or analytics have not been easy to learn and have not been easy to use. As a result, it impacts adoption and the comfort level that the end users of analytics have with that product. So learning that and keeping up with the changes in that product has been a challenge. Requirements are obviously important. The way you define your outcomes, i.e. KPIs for analytics, will largely drive how you go about implementing the project, where you get the data from, how you massage the data, and what metrics you put out there for your business to consume. If you don't have well-defined requirements, then the insights and the metrics you provide may not be as useful for your business, and they may not be able to take the right actions based on that. Bringing data availability talks about bringing data from different sources and continuously managing the flow of data from various sources into your analytics platform. And in the past, that has been, again, a source of pain because there are analytics platforms that provide ETL tools, and those ETL tools are far from being plug and play. You have to be able to customize those scripts and learn that platform, have an administrator dedicated to that platform, troubleshoot when scripts fail, a laundry list of problems that you would have with that. So data availability, and then the ownership of data. Once it moves into analytics, whatever platform you may be using it today, who owns it, who's responsible for managing it, securing it, and so on, that has been a key concern. And then resource availability talks about not just having skilled resources in-house, but oftentimes the dependency that you have on a consulting partner or a vendor to continue supporting or supplementing your team so that you can deliver results, and then retaining your staff so that all of the underlying plumbing and infrastructure for that analytics platform is maintained. So those are some of the challenges that have been contributing to that problem statement that we spoke about. And here's a classic journey that customers have gone through. Now, this is a busy slide. We don't expect you to read all of the text here, but if you can just focus on the big, bold headline text that is in black text here. From the time you're aware of a business need to the time you get to deployment, if you follow that curve, there are a number of steps that you have to take today in the on-prem world or with your traditional analytics platform to get to the outcome which you're trying to accomplish when you set out to do this project or implement analytics. And along the way, there are several problems, whether it's architecture, whether it is design, whether it is how you build it and who maintains it. These are all things that are either slowing it down or increasing the cost of implementation, or just getting you away from your core mission, whatever you set out to do, and not giving you the results that you wanted to enable your business users with, right? So here's where Oracle Analytics Cloud comes into the picture. The reason we are proposing this solution to you today is Oracle Analytics Cloud, first of all, is in the cloud, which means that you get away from this business of buying software, installing it, administering it, and then having a staff, however big or small that team may be, to patch it, maintain it, i.e. you get away from the hardware and software management business. And with analytics running in the cloud, you are mainly consuming analytics as a service and taking advantage of the latest advancements with Oracle Analytics Cloud. The second part of Analytics Cloud on OCI that we like is the autonomous data warehouse capability. Now, data warehouse has been the key component of all analytics and BI solutions till date, and it will continue to be that. But why do we have to be in the business of setting up a data warehouse and managing it when you have a vendor like Oracle that's providing autonomous capability? And if you've not kept up with what Oracle means by autonomous for database and data warehouse, in a nutshell, it means it's self-healing, self-tuning, self-patching, so that you are not in the business of managing a data warehouse. You are just thinking about how do I move data in there and how do I build analytics on top of it. So this combination of Oracle Analytics Cloud, which has really rich data visualization capabilities, data discovery capabilities, and it's powered underneath by a platform that has a lot of additional capabilities, such as predictive analytics. It has the right security that you need. It has dashboarding capability. Marry that with autonomous data warehouse, where you get Oracle providing a platform service, which can be elastic. It can grow with your needs. That's what we mean by elastic. And as I said, it is self-driving, self-repairing, and self-tuning. That makes it much easier and eliminates a lot of the challenges that we laid out for you earlier in adopting analytics. So if you have Oracle Analytics Cloud, and then the problem statement becomes, how do I use this powerful platform now to deliver analytics for my PeopleSoft users? Because we are talking about analytics for PeopleSoft applications in today's webinar. So let's talk about how you get to that step. You may have the best analytics platform in the cloud, and today we're recommending that you use OAC for that, but you still have this challenge of the platform's great, but where's my data? How do I visualize it? Where are the metrics? Do I still have to go through all of the requirement gathering, the data analysis, the design aspect, the data management aspect, the security aspect, and still spend months and months trying to design this? Or is there a better way to get to my end state, right? So we don't want you to struggle with this blank canvas syndrome, where you have a beautiful product, but you don't know what to do with it because the product itself is not automatically going to read your data and produce analytics. No product in the world can do that today. So we don't expect that, but what we expect is that you should have a product with some capability, i.e. an accelerator that we have built, that will get you to a state of operational excellence. I mean, maybe excellence is too strong a word, but at least start visualizing your data in the cloud within a matter of days as opposed to waiting for weeks and months. And that's what we're going to talk about. So the way we do that is by using ACE. So ACE stands for Analytics Cloud Enablement. This is an accelerator solution built by Astute Business Solutions specifically for PeopleSoft ERP and HCM running on Oracle Analytics Cloud powered by Autonomous Data Warehouse. So what do we do with ACE? Your first challenge is data availability. How do you get the right data into analytics so that you can start building reports and dashboards on top of that? So we are PeopleSoft experts. We understand PeopleSoft data models. We've worked with that for the past 20 years across industry, across market segment. So we have data experts who can help you understand what is in your HR data that is suitable for analytics. How do you get it to cloud? And how do you build analytics on top of that? We take the mystery out of all of that, and we've pre-built data sets that can be sourced from PeopleSoft database connections, whether your PeopleSoft instance is running on-prem, whether it's running in a hosting environment, or whether it's running in a cloud environment. We have means to connect to that data source. Let's take HR, for example, and preload HR data related to HR employee analytics and put that into OAC for you. You don't have to do that. Requirement gathering. So oftentimes the inertia in a project or starting trouble with a project may be not knowing how to clearly express your business need in the form of requirements that are suitable for analytics. So again, we've taken the challenge out by providing you some use cases for HR, for finance, for procurement, based on common use cases that customers have asked us for, and based on what we see the need when we talk about analytics with customers and partners. So in the case of HR, for example, one of the common things that customers are asking for is they want analytics based on employee, i.e. related to the life or the term of an employee with an organization, retaining an employee, promoting an employee, employee termination, employee attrition. All of these things have data sources and data elements in PeopleSoft. You just have to know how to build a requirement around that. And we have some really well-defined use cases that you can use to get started. Learning curve. With Analytics Cloud, everything that you see is visual. So it's got a WYSIWYG approach to analytics, which means what you see is what you get. It's very easy to look at a data set online, to configure your data set, not program it, and quickly go from data set to visualization to narration, and you'll see that in our demo. What we've seen from our own personal experience in working with Analytics Cloud is with less than a week's training, anybody can start using Analytics Cloud, especially business users who don't need to understand the underlying technology or how ETL works or how facts and dimensions work or how to build cubes in Essbase, or all of that thing goes away. And now you're focused more on the presentation layer of your analytics solution, where you are looking at data points and you are determining what makes the most sense for you. And then in terms of resources and availability and overall spend, we have condensed all of this into an easy-to-consume 2-week package where you can take this and get up and running with Analytics Cloud in less than 2 weeks with these pre-built data sets for HR, finance, and procurement, and some pre-built dashboards. And we'll show you some demos of what that looked like. The requirement there is that you have purchased Analytics Cloud with ADW, and if you have not, then we have a way to package that as well for you in one single contract. So just a quick recap of what that enablement package looks like if you sign up for that. So it's plug and go, and what we mean by that is the data sets that can aggregate data from a PeopleSoft source, whether it's human capital management or financials and supply chain management. Those are predefined for you by business use case and by functional areas, so you will get that. And it'll be connected to your PeopleSoft source of information, wherever PeopleSoft is running. Once that is done, then we will walk you through how to use the delivered analytics that we have created for various use cases, and there'll be some training associated with that also. And then come the extension. So the goal is to get you started and have you experience a real outcome tied to a real business need in 2 weeks or less. But it does not mean that you stop your analytics discovery there. You may want many other use cases to be satisfied, or you may have extensions that you may want to build, additional data sources that you want to bring so that you can start correlating this information. So for example, your procurement information may be something that you want to correlate with order management information, and maybe that's coming from Salesforce or a different cloud solution. You may want to correlate employee information with recruiting information that's coming from Taleo, for example. So we can connect as many different data sources using a variety of adapters that are pre-built for analytics and for autonomous data warehouse, and we can continue that journey with you with those extensions. Here's what that sample project plan looks like. It's a fixed fee of $10,000 in less than 2 weeks, so you're seeing week 1 and 2 and the business days from 1 through 10. We start with a workshop because we level set everybody's expectation. We ask you to discard any previous notions you might have had about analytics and how cumbersome it is by telling you how we're going to approach this and how easy it is going to be. We take care of the part where we connect to your PeopleSoft instance. Obviously, we want it to be secure. We want it to be the right connection to the right source, but we'll work those details out with your networking team, with your security team, and your PeopleSoft team. And once we make that connection, the data set, because it's predefined, it will easily pull that data into the analytics platform, and you can start populating data using that data source into our pre-built dashboards. Training is included as well. Some of the training will be on the job, i.e. while we're developing these, your analytics resources or users can shadow us and follow along, but we'll also have demo days and some documentation to leave behind with you so that you know how to continue developing that as you move forward. Who are candidates for ACE? So obviously we are targeting PeopleSoft customers, but within PeopleSoft, we can address human capital management, financials and supply chain, campus solutions, and ELM. You may have a lot of good learning data in ELM that you want to build analytics on, and maybe you want to try that to employee retention or employee training goals and so on. So that may be a good use case for you to look at. Now, we can solve your analytics problems regardless of what you have on-prem today or whether you have any BI solution at all. So we know some of you run OBIEE and maybe OBIA analytic packages on top of that on-prem. We know some of you are using third-party solutions. Some of you are using cloud products like Taleo or Click or others. But it does not matter. What we are here to show you is that this accelerated package can be better than all of those solutions, can be faster to adopt, and has the ability for you to continue to develop more solutions at a very fast pace compared to other solutions. So with that, we will I'll just share a couple of use cases that we are going to demo to you today, and then we'll go straight into demo. So, and these are just use cases that we are using for demo purposes today. This is by no means an exhaustive list of all use cases that we can develop on OAC ADW for you. As a matter of fact, one of our calls to action at the end of today's webcast is going to be, we ask you to bring as many use cases that you have to us and challenge us to build accelerated solutions for those or demonstrate OAC's capability to solve those problems using Analytics Cloud, and we'll be happy to take on those projects as well. But in the HR standpoint, it is employee-related information that we are focusing on today. What does it take to retain talent? What does it take to understand the impact when you have key resources leaving an organization? What is your hiring impact, and so on and so forth. So not just looking at that from a transactional perspective, but using the power of analytics to project future such events and how you can use that projections to prepare and be in a better place to handle that. Procurement spend, so one of the common things that we hear procurement teams ask for is how much of your spend today is on versus off contract. So you want to rein in some of that rogue spending off-contract spend, and so on and so forth. And Analytics Cloud is really set up to do that. And then on the core financial side, just a simple example of budget versus actual, but there are many other things that you could do there as well. Okay, so we are ready to do a demo, so give us a second and we'll get set up. I might have to switch screens here. So we'll be back with you in less than 30 seconds. And in the meantime, please think of questions and start typing that into the chat window so that Val can collect those and we can be ready to answer those right after the demo. Okay, so actually, rather than switch screens, we decided to switch seats. Jyoti's in the driver's seat now, and what you have in front of you on the screen is Oracle Analytics Cloud showing you a analytic dashboard focused on attrition, on employee attrition. Now, what we want to do today is first show you what the analytic looks like when you visualize it and when it's ready to be demonstrated or used. And then we'll take you with a brief tour of the behind the scenes to show you what happens and how quickly we can get a data source connected and how easy it is to use Analytics Cloud to get to this end state. Okay. So there are multiple analytics that we have developed, multiple KPIs related to that employee data set. And the first one that you see on the left-hand side, it's a bar graph, and it tells you how many terminations you have and what is the reason code or termination reason. And the majority of them have selected career progression or lack thereof as the reason for termination or leaving. And what happens as you click on the appropriate category on the left-hand side, you can see that bubble chart on the right getting populated. And now that's giving you a cross-reference of their tenure in the company and their performance rating. So if you, for example, wanted to spot a trend where they left the company because of lack of career progression, but they had a very high performance rating. They were trending towards the right-hand side. So if you look at career progression now, you see all of those blue circles, and that's telling you that these people were some of your top performers, but they did not see a career path where they were being recognized for their performance and being promoted, and that was one of the main reasons why they left. And to get to this, we did not have to build complex ETL or go through an extensive design phase. As a matter of fact, something like this can be visualized in less than a week. We just have to be able to show you how to connect the data to your data source. Now, you can also look at where your drop-off problem is on the recruiting side, right? So you may have a number of qualified candidates that come into your pipeline through various sources, and you may not be able to attract all of them to come and work for your organization, right? So, or if they did join your company, then you can predict what happened to them in the context of termination. What was the source? Where did you hire them from? And you can use that information to further enhance your actions or what you want to do to correct this problem going forward, right? So we are giving you three different perspectives. We are giving you a core HR perspective on terminations, which is tied to employee development. We're giving you the recruiting perspective, and then we can easily build a canvas. So what you see in the bottom, those three dots, each of them represents a separate canvas. So you can, and the reason we're calling it a canvas and the reason Analytics Cloud calls it a canvas is basically you're painting a picture for your business users, for your executives, so that they can make decisions very easily based on a very visual representation of the facts. So if we can go back to the first canvas, Jyoti, what we see here is obviously you have a simple pie chart that's breaking down termination reason by different categories. But what you can do is as you click on any of those categories, you will notice that the other graphs on screen are automatically adjusted or repopulated based on that particular metric that you chose. And in the bottom, you see a trend analysis. So you see that dotted trend line. It is showing you that for that particular termination reason code, the trend is actually going upward. That's not a good thing for you. So if it is compensation and it's trending up, that means the reason being compensation is trending upwards as your reason for, as the employee's reason for leaving or for termination. So again, in a nutshell, all of this is possible with the power of Analytics Cloud and the data visualization cloud service that's built into it. It's possible because of Autonomous Data Warehouse, and it just abstracts the need for you to massage data or create data models behind the scene. All of that is done through the front end. So the way we do that, now to explain how we do this, we're going to show you one more demo. So let's go back, Jyoti, if we can, to our home screen. And let's look at our demo for financials or procurement. And so just give us a second while we navigate here. And so let's look at procurement. So this is procurement data coming from PeopleSoft. It's not everything in procurement. It's not everything in purchasing and AP. It's not the complete procure-to-pay workflow. It's just a demo. But what you're seeing here is we want to analyze suppliers in the context of procurement, and we want to be able to look at them by business unit, and within that, we want to be able to find additional metrics, right? So the way we do this is, obviously you see different canvases here too. You have a lot of different graphs, and these are things that you can develop in other systems too, but each of them would require design, implementation, coding, testing, and so on. None of that has been done here to produce this outcome. Everything has been done through online visualization, and all we had to do was connect the data source to Analytics Cloud. So let's do a brief tour of behind the scenes to now show you how quickly and easily we are able to connect the data source and get to this end state. Now keep in mind, we spoke about the blank canvas syndrome. So Oracle Analytics Cloud gives you the platform cloud service to build the analytic, but it does not give you the pre-built data sets or the pre-built dashboards with metrics that can interpret that data and deliver these results that we just showed you. And that's where we've come in to solve that problem and make it easier. So the first thing you have to do is go in and create a connection, and you have various connection types. And we're just going to go through this at a very high level. So you can see there are various databases, there are Amazon data sources, there are SQL data sources of different types. You can bring in spreadsheet uploads. You can connect it to other data warehouse environments like Snowflake. But the bottom line is you can connect multiple sources of data. There's SQL Server in there as well. And you can bring data from all of these different sources into Oracle Autonomous Data Warehouse. For PeopleSoft, for demo purposes, we've chosen an Oracle database connection. And so we have a Autonomous Data Warehouse Cloud instance. And once we provision that, we give the instance connection parameters and so on and so forth. That's where you would do that. So once you have the autonomous data source, then the next step is to create a data set. And the data set is where you define the functional elements of data that you want to bring from your source into PeopleSoft. So here we have a source that's been defined, and within that source, we are going to select a data set. And there are some predefined data sets, as you can see here. So we're going to hit maybe a purchasing table that has some vendor information, some PO information, and so on. And once we select that, it exposes all of the data elements that are available from that data source. Go ahead and add it, and now the data source is connected to your cloud instance, cloud platform, right? So now it is telling us that data source already exists because we already have that set up for our demo. Now, once the data is loaded, you have the option to adjust or modify the data on the fly, and that can be something as simple as renaming columns for easier naming conventions on analytics, because PeopleSoft can have some cryptic column names for some of these tables and columns. or you can adjust the attributes and for analytic purposes. So you can determine whether a particular property or a value in a column is going to be an attribute of the data or it's going to be a measure of the data, right? So now think about classic or old school OBIEE or other analytic platforms where you would have to go through this massive design exercise of understanding what should be your fact and what should be your dimension, and running a whole bunch of programs behind the scenes to transform your OLTP data coming from PeopleSoft into those facts and dimensions and building models and cubes. You don't have to do any of that on Analytics Cloud. All you have to do is select your data element, and if the table has 100 rows or 100 columns, you don't have to go in and adjust all of them. You just have to look at the ones that are meaningful to you and determine whether you want that treated as a measure or an attribute. And then how do you want to aggregate? If it is a measure, then you can apply an aggregation type to it, and you can determine how you want to aggregate that. That's it. So you can play with the data set in a very intuitive way, and you can see the terms we're using are very simple English language terms. It's not complicated text speak, and we can just work with this. If I'm an end user, if I'm a power user, it does not matter. This is my data. I know this data, so I know how to operate on that. So I work with my data set, and then I create a project, right? So now, within the data set, where do we get to the explain part? That's after we create the project. So let's create a project. So what that project now does is it takes that data definition and it loads that into a project. And here's the beauty of Visualization Cloud Service, which is part of Oracle Analytics Cloud. So I can take a particular column or attribute of data here, a field, and I can right-click on that. And let's go ahead and select something like, let's see, we want to look at something related to purchasing, maybe, or vendor. So let's look at vendor, and let's right-click on that. And now you see this opportunity to do something called explain. And what you get when you do that is it is going to now look at a cross-reference or build a cross-reference of that particular field against a number of other data elements that exist in your data set, right? So it's giving you that sunburst kind of a view over there, and it's telling you some basic facts. So on the left-hand column, you have basic facts about vendor, and it's telling you the distribution of unique values across all the rows in that table. It's giving you something called key drivers, which means it's automatically interpreting the data for you, and it is saying that here are some of the charts that we think you might be interested in. So it's taking vendor information and comparing that with a number of other data elements that exist in that data set. And it can be correlated across multiple data sets too. We're just oversimplifying this for demo purposes today. So you have now the ability to take one or more of these and just by selecting them. So if you hover your mouse over any of these, you will see that checkbox thing appear, and you can check it, and that's done. And then there's something called segments on the left-hand side. So when you look at segments, in this case, we don't have segmentation data for that, but if you did, you would see if there were anomalies in the transactional pattern, you would be able to see that. So behind the scenes, you're able to get all of these things just by clicking on a single field, because the platform has some advanced capabilities. It has machine learning, it has some AI built into the platform, and those capabilities are being enhanced continuously by Oracle for Analytics Cloud as well. So you have the ability to dissect your data before you get to the analytics stage. And this is going to take a few minutes because we might have stumbled onto a larger data set. But let's just pick one particular fact and maybe a couple of charts here and proceed. So we can select as many as we would like and then say add selected. And what it would do is it would add them to your canvas so that you can start visualizing and playing with that data. And you may be happy with what you see here, or you may be interested in taking a particular graph and converting that into a bar chart or into some sort of a different visualization. There are various categories that you can use to automatically change the visualization type. and you can do that very quickly. And once you're done with that, you say, I'm done with this, I'm going to save it, and now I'm in a position to narrate, which means that I'm able to present my analytics to my consumer, which may be the business user. And in this case, as we said, implementation is not really a huge project. You can imagine with the way we are working with the data here, business users can jump right into it as long as the data source is connected, and they can go in and build their own visualizations whenever they want to see them, and they can adjust them on the fly. If they want a particular parameter to be added, deleted, a graph to be changed, the scope of something to be reduced, so there's filtering capability on the data as well. You want to look at it by a particular vendor, by a particular period, or things like that. All of those capabilities exist. So in short, everything is what you see is what you get on the screen. You are not coding, you are not working with back-end administrators or IT staff to move stuff back and forth. You are just there with the data in real time, processing it, and getting some very powerful analytics. So let's conclude the demo there. I know there's a lot more that we could show you. This platform is extremely capable, but you can save your visualization and have many different versions of this available, i.e. you can create as many canvases as you would like by scenario and name them appropriately and come back and use them. So Jyoti, thank you so much for the demo. That was extremely exciting. And I hope all of you listening in and seeing my screen were able to get that same effect that you saw, how quickly we went from a data source to visualization with Oracle Analytics Cloud powered by Autonomous Data Warehouse connected to PeopleSoft. So with that, we'll conclude the demo. And you saw us demonstrate some of these use cases. You saw an analytic demo for HR, one for procurement. And then we are now here to tell you what you can consider doing next, right? So let's take an action. Why not take this for a test drive? Oracle's offering you the ability to spin up a trial for up to 60 days with Analytics Cloud powered by ADW. We have the ability to plug your PeopleSoft data source into that trial environment and show you how this works. So if you're excited about this, please contact us and talk to us about how we can get you up and running with the trial very quickly. And we are sure that what you see in that trial will prompt you to move into production and start developing more. And then if there are additional use cases that you have that we have not spoken about today, obviously, because it's a webinar and because we're constrained by time, we are not showing you everything that's possible, but we understand that you may have some unique business cases that are related to your organization. We'd be happy to look at those and tackle those and show you how those problems can be solved. Some upcoming events that we wanted to share with you while we are here on the webinar today, events that you can use to further this conversation with us, with Oracle, or with Oracle and Astute together. We're hosting a Cloud Day in Philadelphia on Jan 8th. It's an all-day event. It's on our website. Our website is up there on the top, https://www.beastute.com, or email us at cloud@beastute.com. Look forward to a joint webinar with Oracle on Analytics Cloud. So we are working on the dates, but it's going to be mid-January. We're projecting that'll be the week of January 20th. There'll be an Oracle Analytics expert talking about the capabilities of the platform, and Astute will be doing a similar demo, but with some more use cases that we are preparing for that. And then cloud workshops. This is something that we do across the country for several customers, depending on the need. We come in and set up a half-day to a full-day agenda where we work with you on your specific cloud initiative. We build an agenda that is tailored to your requirements. It's a combination of presentation, whiteboarding sessions, visioning sessions on where you want to go and how we get you there, and then some action items that will get us to sizing and architecture and quotes if you're ready to receive quotes. Reference architecture, so if you're interested in knowing what a reference architecture would look like for deploying analytics for PeopleSoft using the solution that we showed you today, so please contact us for that, and we'd be happy to give you more information on that. So Val, with that, I think we're done with the presentation and demo aspect of today's event. Are there any questions that we can take?
If you have any questions, please enter them into the questions pane or into the chat pane. We'll give everybody a few moments. At this point, there's no questions, Arvin, so we'll just hang tight for 30 seconds or so.
Well, while you're thinking about questions, or if you don't have any today, here's some food for thought. Take a look at this and then go back and talk to your teams about how you've done implementations in the past, on-prem or elsewhere, with analytics, and compare and contrast that with this solution, Oracle Analytics with the Astute ACE Accelerator. And hopefully you'll see a stark difference in time to value, and also in the cost of getting something like this up and running. Also, you will see that this is something that you can manage mostly in self-service mode once the instance is deployed, where you don't have to have a heavy reliance on IT to build custom components or code or ETL for you to start using the power of Analytics Cloud. And we're always available to answer questions. You have our contact information there at the top. We're continuing to develop more and more such packages for PeopleSoft, and we're happy to tackle other applications such as EBS or non-Oracle applications as well, if you are willing to bring those use cases to us. We're also collaborating with the Oracle Cloud Analytics team to put together events for 2020, where we can take this message out to as many customers as we can jointly. So if we're coming to a city near you, you'd hear about that through our website, through our social media channels. So please stay tuned for that and give us your feedback. We would love to hear from you so that we can continue to improve the solution and focus on enhancing our value proposition through that. So Val, with that, let's conclude, and thank you for hosting, and thank you all for taking time to attend today's event. If there are no more questions, Val, then I'll hand it back to you and we can conclude.
Yes, there's no questions. I'd like to thank everyone for taking the time to attend today's webinar. To leave the tool, press the Leave Meeting on the right side of your control panel. You will receive an electronic survey when you leave the webinar. Please take the time to fill it out so we can better serve you in the future. This webinar is now concluded. Have a great day.